How do you and how does this government define a woman?
Um, the, well, biology, sex, gender, people define themselves, people define their own genders.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As you can see on the screen here, how can someone ask a question about the woman's pay gap but can't even define what a woman is? Now, this is the previous Prime Minister of New Zealand. New Zealand's politicians are a freaking joke. I mean, you think in America they're bad? Yeah. Well, welcome to New Zealand politicians. They are shocking. And the thing is, the Americans, you know, we know that they're corrupt. We know what they're trying to do. They're trying to become rich. They're trying to, you know, hold on to power. Whereas in the Kiwis, they don't even know what they want. They just, it's almost like they're like a Joe Biden mixed with almost a brain dead cockatoo, because they just spout something and they go, and they're half the age that what a Joe Biden is. So that's the difference there. I don't think there is even a minimum IQ at all when it comes to politicians in New Zealand. Let's have a little bit of a look. Remember, this is the guy who was pretty much what the president is in America, the most powerful person in New Zealand, the highest ranking job, and this is how they talk. So let's have a look, and you let me know what you think about this.
Does he think it's acceptable that women working in New Zealand earn just under 9% less than men for the same work? If not, what's his government going to do about it?
Seeing as this matter is related to gender, it's very important for the government. Has he received information as to what a woman is?
How do you and how does this government define a woman?
To be honest, Sean, that question's come slightly out of left field for me. Well, biology, sex, gender, people define themselves, people define their own genders.
Okay, look, I'm going to play it one more time because it deserves to be played one more time. Just what an absolute joke.
How do you and how does this government define a woman?
To be honest, Sean, that question's come slightly out of left field for me. Well, biology, sex, gender, people define themselves, people define their own genders.
People define themselves, people define their own gender. This is the person who's the most powerful person in New Zealand at that time. Luckily, he definitely didn't get voted in again because New Zealand actually went a little bit more right. They went a little bit more conservative. They went to the National Party and they voted for people who are going to be tough on crime and are going to stop kind of this woke ideology, right? Now, the next one I want to show you is, this is the previous Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, and she was probably one of the worst prime ministers in my history of knowing about New Zealand, obviously being a citizen from there and everything. And yeah, she's just atrocious. The way she handles everything, it's all about emotions instead of actually, you know, you're running the country. All right. And yeah, that's, I guess, some people fall for that. Some people fall for the fact that they would rather someone who's like a Joe Biden, right? Remember what they were selling. He's caring. He cares about your feelings. He blah, blah, blah. If someone who is running my country, I want him to run it like a well-oiled business. I want the economy to go good. I want everything to run smoothly in the country. I don't care about feelings. If I'm not happy with the government, I don't care as long as my life is easy. That's all I care about. But anyway, let's watch this one here.
Seeing the kids there probably was one of the things that upset me the most, yeah.
You came out quite early and said this is a bunch of Trump supporters and anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, and there were elements
Was
of that.
that wise?
I just described what I saw.
Do you accept that there are people out there who've had genuine health consequences as a result of taking the vaccine?
Oh, look, the vaccines and the vaccine campaign was about keeping people safe. And with any vaccination campaign, we take seriously anyone who has adverse reactions, but also at the same time, we're public about the benefits that vaccine brings too.
Do you regret that some people were harmed by the vaccine?
Oh, you know, if it were possible to have a form of medical treatment every medical treatment with zero side effects, what a world we would be.
During summer, the protest wasn't her only headache. National jumped in the polls.
In the early part of the pandemic, you were praised for your communication. What's happened for the government over the last 6 months?
Do you mind being slightly more specific?
People have felt there's a lack of clarity around message. There's a lack of consistency around those messages. You've got a lot of business groups, for example, saying we find it really hard to get information. We don't know what's going on.
Look, we can't predict what's going to happen with this pandemic. We can't predict if there will be variants, but we've actually created as much certainty as we can in this uncertain environment.
You know, you can just tell when someone is doing a fake smile, how she's like, oh, can you be a little bit more specific? And yeah, she knows that she ran the country in the ground. There's a reason why she resigned. And there's a reason why that previous one stepped into power, Hipkins, right? Now, I'll finish it on this one here. It's just ridiculous that this stuff is not being, you know, spoken about on the mainstream medias across the world. This is just kind of being thrown under the bus because the same exact law is in Australia. The same exact law is in New Zealand as well. So it's not like, you know, Canada is the only country. Many countries are now like this. So what I'm talking about is, so the Trudeau regime has introduced an Orwellian new law called the Online Harms Bill C-63, which will give police the power to retroactively search the internet for hate speech, violations, arrest offenders, even if the offense occurred before the law existed. This new bill is aimed at safeguarding the masses from so-called hate speech. It is freaking insane. Now, the real shocker is this bill is alarming retroactive aspect. Essentially, whatever you've said in the past can now be weaponized against you by today's draconian standards. Historian Dr. Muriel Blave has weighed in on this draconian law, labeling it outright mad. She points out how it literally spits in the face of all Western legal traditions, especially the one about only being punished if you infringed on a law that was valid at the time of committing a crime. Really insane to me. Imagine 20 years down the track, you forgot you posted something, you know, which was not seen as hate speech 20 years ago. For example, the old word for a cigarette, or, you know, anything that used to be open speech back then, or even words which didn't mean what they mean now. Imagine saying something 20 years ago on Facebook when it first, I don't know, you know, started, and you don't even remember posting it. Then suddenly the police come knocking on your door because you're doing something they don't like. They come out and say, that was hate speech, knock, knock, knock. Imagine in 40 years' time, you said something today. You said, let's say a word, oh, look at this lamp, what an idiot. And then you find out lamp is now actually hate speech, and they can just come and knock on your door and arrest you. It just leaves too many laws open, in my opinion. And yeah, it should never be this way. It should be cut. You know, the law, this is the law, and that's what it is. There shouldn't be any interpretation where they can go, ooh, we got a little bit of leeway here. We can pick and choose. So as you can see, the readers added context. Part 3 of Bill C-63, which is still at first reading stage, is not yet law. As the Canadian Human Rights Act, a person communicates or causes the communication to hate speech, as long as hate speech remains public and the person can remove or block access to it. So yeah, as long as they, I guess, can say we can stop the access to it, that's fine. Which someone could just say, I can't stop the access to it, so that's hate speech to me. So yet again, this is still too open. So it doesn't matter if that's not written into law yet. Yeah, you can see everyone's just kind of shocked just about what this is. But yeah, what do you expect from Trudeau, right? And I guess, I wonder if Canadians will even vote him back in again. It's absolutely insanity. He's not for free speech. He's not for freedom at all. He's for totalitarian. He's authoritarian. He's pretty much everything the opposite of what I guess the Western world stands for. But anyway, I'll end it on that. Let me know what you think. What do you think about those politicians in New Zealand? What do you think about this new law which they're opening? Yeah, should never even be discussed, just in my opinion. But I'll end it on that. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe as well to see future videos, and share it with your friends as well if you want to get them to see it. Thank you for watching.